102.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you in. The new drug today on a Monday installment of the program. Black Monday is what they call it. And one in, one out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk about a lot of things today on the program, but obviously the quarterback, or the question that everybody wanted to know, is what would happen with the Jaguars moving forward. Oh, by the way, there was a football game yesterday, too. There is that. The Jaguars on the road lose to the Indianapolis Colts. And yet, it was almost fitting, wasn't it, that it was another close game. It was almost fitting that the last one comes down to overtime. It was pretty amazing.
Doug even said that in his post-game press conferences. I think he used that exact word, fitting, and it was a disaster of a season that is over. But it's still a bummer because it's like now it's you go into an off season. You're not going to have meaningful football around here now for a long time, and you get to watch the tournament play out with 14 teams that feel really good about where they're going. So, and then it didn't get a whole lot better. Seeing the decision by Shad Khan to fire Doug Peterson but retain Trent Baalke, and then a press conference a couple hours ago, I think only, at least for me, illuminated a disturbing picture of an owner that I don't think really has a grasp on how you go about winning in this league. And I think Doug Peterson left the Jaguars better than how he found them. I think he should, be as he is now removed. I think he should be remembered fondly for his efforts. I am just stunned that Trent Baalke is still the general manager here, and we'll see. We'll see how that ends up affecting their search for their next head coach.
Yeah, and I will tell you, it's odd, isn't it? And we'll talk a lot about all of it today. It's odd. It's an odd circumstance that when a general manager not getting fired is a bigger story than the coach getting fired.
I can't remember it ever happening
because I do think, but I think that's probably a fair comment. Wouldn't you say?
I think it's absolutely. I very few people that I've talked to, the texts that I've gotten, the conversations I've had, no one really is, asking anything about Doug Peterson. It is all geared around Trent Baalke. And if you've been on social media today, I think that's been reflected there. It was certainly reflected in the comments of the press conference that was a Zoom press conference, but it was streamed, and fans were able to comment there. I will say this. I think it is, for Shad Khan, this was his worst day as owner here, because I think it spoke to somebody that, even though he's been an owner for over a decade, really doesn't have an understanding of how a competitive football model is built. The importance of alignment between your general manager and your head coach, the importance of having a brain trust outside of just one person who is your GM. I think it's I think in the way Shad answered questions today, it's clear to me that it's going to be hard for the Jaguars to build a consistent winner here. They may fall into a season here and there, but you don't want an owner that micromanages everything, but he does need to have a basic idea of what a functional NFL outfit should look like. And his comments to me indicate that he does not have that.
So it'll be, and I wasn't concerned about the press conference as much. I thought the pressure was fine. We'll talk more about that going on. But it is interesting to see where the team is moving forward, who they hire. I'll give you thoughts on Doug Peterson. I'll give you thoughts on Trent Baalke. We'll talk all about that. But by now, and again, you've been listening all day long. You know the story by now. Doug Peterson out after 3 years as the Jaguar football coach. Trent Baalke remains in as the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Baalke and Shad said in a statement that others, but he didn't say who, will certainly be involved, but they need to bring in a football coach for what I still think, and I agree with all the narrative, Hays, is a very attractive job. I think it's a very attractive job on many fronts. The obvious stuff, you got a really good quarterback who might be an elite quarterback if you can develop him as such. You got a very winnable division. I mean, I think it's one of the more winnable divisions. I think anybody in the division would admit that. I think it's certainly that. And I think, and beyond that, it's Jacksonville. You got a beautiful new Miller's Electric Center practice facility. You're about to have a beautiful new stadium. There's no income tax. This is a great place to live. That's why we all love living here so much. So there's that. We'll get to all that. We're also going to take your calls in the show today. We'll do that in the bottom of the hour here. I want to know what you think about that. We don't take calls a lot, but today's a good day to take it. So 641-1010 is the number. 641-1010. We'll do that near the bottom of the hour. We'll have everybody weigh in on what you think about what the Jaguars did, what they should do, what they do moving forward. So we'll certainly get to that. So there's all kind of other stuff going on that we will get to as the week goes on. The Florida-Kentucky basketball game was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
When, you know what? In a weird sort of way, it's not a moral victory. Don't get it wrong. When you're fifth in the country, there's no moral victories. But I feel less bad about them than I would any other loss they had. Kentucky couldn't miss anything, right? They made everything. They're 14 of 29 from three-point range. Well, part of that's because Florida didn't play defense. Yeah, but when you're 14 of 29 against air, that's pretty good.
And shot 57.8% from the floor
for the game, right? So we'll talk. We'll get to that. If not today, we'll certainly get to it tomorrow. So it's all kind of fun stuff. I love the playoff field. I think not that they're ever bad, but when they went to 7 teams in each conference, it's almost a conversation you had about college. Did they expand too much? Well, I think the NFL playoffs this year are going to be a blast. There's so many storylines. I mean, are the Lions the team? What are the Lions doing as the team to beat? They've never been the team to beat. But even with all the injuries, man, oh man, did they wallop the Vikings? That's one of the storylines. I think Jaden Daniels' presence is one of the storylines. The Buccaneers have slowly been one of the real good teams in football the last 3 or 4 years. That's a great storyline. All the quarterbacks in the AFC I'm telling you, don't you feel that way about the playoffs this year?
Without a doubt. I mean, it's the Broncos are a fantastic story. Bo Nix has done great things. They've got an elite defense. They're going to Buffalo. That's going to be a really intriguing game Sunday at 1. The LA Chargers, going to Houston as a road favorite. It'll be fun to see what can Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert do. You mentioned Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield. That'll be an outstanding matchup. And Ravens Steelers is always physical. Now Pittsburgh is really struggling, but and they don't have a great history recently in the tournament. But that's still when the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming to town, that's got to make you nervous if you're Baltimore. So Baltimore's a big favorite, but but that's going to be obviously a game of incredible physicality. So yeah, there's a lot to like. Packers Eagles is fantastic as well. And then we'll see how the Vikings respond going to L.A. to play the Rams.
And the overall carousel will be a fun story, too, not just as it relates to the Jaguars, but it's going to be interesting. As we sit here, we know that the Jets and the Bears and the Saints and the Patriots don't have a head coach, and the Jaguars don't have a head coach. That's 5 teams that don't have a head coach. We'll continue to track some of the others. Is Mike Vrabel now ticketed for New England? Did they fire Gerard Mayo after 1 year to make sure Mike Vrabel didn't go to the Jets? Because that's kind of what I think. I think that's, 1 year, one and done, which is hard. I mean, that's the world we live in now, and I'm going to get to that later. I'm going to talk about Doug Peterson, so that comes up in a bit as well. But I think it's just the NFL is intriguing as it's ever been for me, and part of it's because the team here now will embark on another coaching search. But there's all kind of intriguing stuff. We'll talk a little college football, players right around the corner. We have a Final Four, which is kind of cool. So we'll certainly get to the Final Four and who we like in the Final Four. We'll certainly talk about that coming up a little bit. Changes for the Jaguars. Eric Armstead made an interesting comment. He's going to go back to playing tackle. A lot of people wonder why he wasn't playing tackle anyway. So he's I wonder how that emanated. So there's all kind of stuff to get to today on the program. So we're glad you're with us on the program again. Jags fired Doug Peterson. Trent Baalke remains as the GM. Trent Baalke will coordinate a search for the next coach. Shad Khan and Trent Baalke had a joint by Zoom press conference today where they talked about the firing and then moving on from Doug. Shad said that he spoke with Doug this morning. So we'll certainly talk about that. We've got a lot of things to get to. We'll talk about on the program today. Real quick before we get to all the stuff from today, we're going to take a break, get to all of it. Is Ben Johnson candidate number 1? Is he position A?
Absolutely, if he'll listen. But I do fear that retaining Trent Baalke makes that more difficult. I mean, if I was Ben Johnson, I would have to think long and hard about, is this where I want to have my first opportunity, where I know the owner only listens to one guy, and that's Trent Baalke. So if it goes astray for me early, what kind of support am I going to have from the general manager and the owner? Because if Ben Johnson listens to that press conference today, I think he's going to have no interest in the job.
All right, so we will take a break. I'll give you my thoughts on all of it, where they stand, the Doug Peterson firing, where the Jaguars are heading forward. We'll both weigh in on that. Bottom of the hour, your call, 641-1010. We will do that at about 4:35 or 4:40. We'll have if you want to weigh in, today's the day to do it on the program, so we'll certainly do that. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Glad you're with us. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a reason why people love to listen to play-by-play on the radio.
This is unbelievable what we're witnessing. I'm serious.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Find your New Year's stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a 50% bump on your first deposit. For a limited time, MyBookie will add 50% to your initial deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Texans are a 3-point home underdog to the Chargers. The Ravens, a 10-point favorite over the visiting Steelers. The Eagles, a 5-point favorite at home over the Packers. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a 50% bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410. Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Trayvon Walker dazzled against the opposition over the weekend. The former number 1 pick tallied 5 tackles versus Indy, with 2 being solo, and added in a sack on what was a great day. Beasting and feasting is how you can describe his season, and Trayvon Walker is your Superior Fence and Rail's defensive player of the game.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic. My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Matt and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
If offense and defense don't win the game, sometimes it's up to the special team.
And here comes the field goal team. They've got to hurry.
After the game, catch the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally on 1010XL.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Man, we appreciate our friends from the Best Bet. 3 fantastic locations. That's Jacksonville there on Monument Road. Orange Park is on 17, and, of course, St. Augustine right on I-95, right on the highway. It is absolutely fantastic. You want a fantastic way to go have fun, good, clean, wholesome fun. You'll love how clean it is. You'll love how much money you can win. You'll love how much fun you can have. Trust me on this. The Best Bet's been a sponsor of the show for a long time. Head to the Best Bet today. All right, your call's coming up in about 15 minutes or so. In fact, I think Shad Khan is trying to get it right. He may mess it up some. I think Shad Khan is committed to our city. He's got, when there's an $80 million Miller Electric Center, $40 million is his. When this stadium goes up for $1.5 billion or whatever that is, Shad's putting up half of that money, which is close to $1 billion of his own money. I think by the time it all gets done, it'll be $1 billion of his own money in that whole complex in that stadium. He really wanted the team to be in Jacksonville for 30 years. Could have moved it. Didn't want to move it. That's why he wanted the 30-year deal. I like Shad. I think Shad's a good man. I think Shad's trying really hard to get this right. So I'm not going to agree with everything he does, and I might be right and might be wrong. I think most people wanted Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke fired. I heard the most people I heard saw online, whatnot. I would have given Doug Peterson one more year. My thought on Doug is this. Doug got here. There's 2 chapters of the Doug Peterson Jacksonville book for me. When Doug got the job here, he was inheriting the awful mess from Urban. It was as dysfunctional as you got. In his first 30 games as the coach here, he was 18-12. That 18-12 included a division title. It included a playoff game win. It included a winning record. And then the next year it started out with 8-3 in first place with a 2-game lead in the division. His first 30 games were magnificent. Nobody would deny that. Then he went 5-23 in the rest of his games. Okay, and that's when the collapse happened. I think I got those numbers right. Bottom line is, at the end of the day, he wound up 22-29 in the regular season, 23-30 if you count the playoff games. I thought because he did such a wonderful job to start his career in Jacksonville, because it got away. And by the way, what hurt him the most is it getting away was parts of 2 seasons, the end of last year and all of this season. I would like to have seen him get one more chance. I think because he had back-to-back winning seasons, he is now the only Jaguars coach. The Jaguars have had a team for 30 years. They've had 7 full-time head coaches. He right now, as we sit here, is the only coach in Jaguars history with more winning seasons than losing seasons. The only one in Jaguar history with more winning than losing. I thought that warranted another year. He's got a 5-1 record against the Tennessee Titans. He's got an .833 winning percentage against the Tennessee Titans. Who in the world, what Jaguar coach would ever have anything close to that? That's laughably higher than anybody else that's ever been here. He's never had a losing season in the division. 2 4-2s and a 3-3. He's the only coach that can say that. There was enough good there that I thought he earned another year. And in addition to all that, really respected in the building, really respected around town, really respected by his players. I would have liked to have seen one more year. Having said all that, I was in the minority. But I'm always like this, too, with the Jaguars or other teams I care about. Once you move on, I'm going to root like crazy for the next guy. I can tell every time I'll tweet something, Hays, about how excited I am about Todd Golden and the Gators, invariably someone on Twitter goes, well, you wanted to keep Mike White. You can't say that. You wanted to keep Mike White. Well, you know why I defended Mike White? Because he was the Gator coach. You know why I'm excited about Todd Golden? Because he's the Gator coach. So the fact that I defended Mike White is not going to stop one bit me getting so excited about Todd, if that makes sense, about Todd Golden. I would have given Doug Peterson another year. I like Doug. Part of it, we became friends, and I'm biased a little bit. And I've always admitted to that. I tend to be that guy. But I'm just being honest. I would have given him another year. But having said that, I'm very excited about where I think it might go. So that's the second part. The other part of the conversation is watching the press conference today. Shad Khan could not have made it more clear. In his opinion, it's a really good roster that was poorly coached, and that's why they lost all the games. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing, but would you say that was the gist of his opinion watching the presser today?
Without a doubt. He called them the most predictable team in the league.
Yeah, he said they're the most predictable team in the league, but it was clear his message was, remember, this is the guy that said before the season it's one of the most talented rosters ever. So in Shad's opinion, Shad believes it's a very talented team that wasn't coached well enough, so let me get another coach, and then we'll be okay. And again, listen, Shad's trying to get it right, brother. I appreciate the fact that he cares. He's trying to do it. I don't know that I completely agree with that assessment. I think I thought before the season it was a really good roster. I think more times than not in the sport of football, if you are 4-13, there are deficiencies in your roster. Unless you have just an awful coach. And I know, and by the way, in talk radio and in football, it's always the coach. Sports in America, when we criticize, it's always the coach. I get that. But I think if you're 4-13, there's probably some roster deficiencies, not just coaching deficiencies. So I'll probably disagree a little bit with Shad on that. And I think that's why people were surprised that Trent Baalke's back. Having said all of that, Hays, so that's my take. I would have kept Doug another year, but I understand I was in the minority there. My guess was of the 4 things that could have happened, number 1, they both get fired, both Trent and Doug. Number 2, they both stay, both Trent and Doug. Number 3, Trent stays and Doug leaves, which is what did happen. And number 4, Doug stays and Trent leaves. Of the 4 possibilities, they probably chose, at least in the fan base, the least popular of them. I think that's probably the least popular of the group. Having said all that, I hope it works. I want to get excited. I want to get excited if it's Ben Johnson. I'm excited about Ben. I could get excited about Ben Johnson. I also could get excited about Mike Vrabel. Now, I think the common conventional thinking now is Vrabel's headed to New England, which is why they fired Gerard Mayo, so Robert Kraft could hire Vrabel quickly. And that's kind of the conventional thinking.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, and I think that's what people think. So that's where I stand on it. I will say, given all of that, I root for the home team. I hope they get it right. I now, as much as I would have kept Doug another year, I'll get excited about a job search. I'll get excited about trying to get the right guy in here. And I'm very intrigued with where I hope and think this thing can go. And I would encourage people, if you're angry about where it is now, okay, if that affects whether you want to buy tickets or not, hey, I never tell people how to spend their disposable income. But having said all that, I hope people will get excited where I think this thing can go. I said a lot of stuff there, but that's kind of where I feel about all of it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I agree in that. Hopefully, they get it right and they start winning games. But my confidence in that happening has been shattered by the decisions that have been made over the last 24 hours. Doug Peterson, to me, had to be fired. I wrote that back in September. You start 0-2, and the team responds by going up to Buffalo on Monday Night Football and losing 47-10. I mean, at that point, it was pretty clear that there was no edge to the program. There was no killer instinct. And unfortunately, it played out that way. And while I think it was something that Trent Baalke has been telling Shad for months about how unpredictable they are not, how easy it is to diagnose what they're going to do. It's why they start slow and can't finish, because the opponent regularly knows what they're going to be doing on both sides of the ball. So I agree with that. But getting back to Trent Baalke, it's a team that's got no depth at edge. It's a team that is sorely lacking in terms of interior offensive line. And the biggest issue moving forward is alignment. We've talked about this before with other jobs. You want both people to be in alignment, because the NFL traditional model is you've got your owner, you've got your general manager, and you've got your coach. Well, it doesn't take too long for two of those people to be aligned with each other and for one guy to be the odd man out. And that is almost always going to end up being the head coach in the NFL. So head coaches know this. So now you're entering a situation where you know right out of the gate that Trent Baalke isn't a general manager with the Jaguars. He's basically a partner. I mean, Shad Khan does not act like Trent Baalke is an employee at all. Now, he acts like he's over him, much like a majority owner would be over a minority owner. But it doesn't come across like that Shad Khan has even remotely ever considered firing Trent Baalke. When he was asked about things like clean slate, and he starts talking about the medical staff and the training table. Well, that's not what – I mean, it's almost like he can't even comprehend the idea of firing the general manager, Trent Baalke. And so as a head coach, why would I enter into that when I know from day one? I mean, Trent's going to talk a good game, and he's going to put his arm around me and say, hey, we're in this together. But the first time we disagree, or the first time we have adversity on the field, you know he's going to sidle right back up to Shad. So as a head coach, in this trinity, you need alignment. You need the head coach and general manager to be on the same timeline so that there is a sense that, hey, we're in this together, and you and I, it's up to us, and we need to have each other's back when we talk to the owner. That is not going to be the case at all here. I mean, you are starting as the head coach, as the odd man out. There is no way that can even remotely be questioned. And I think it is going to lead to a tough search. Look, if Ben Johnson ends up being the coach here, then a lot of what happened today in terms of the negativity, I think goes away. I think Ben Johnson would be an outstanding football coach. And if it's Ben Johnson and Trent Baalke, okay, let's see what can happen. My fear is that is not what's going to happen. My fear is we're going to see a disjointed search like we did when they settled on Doug Peterson 5 weeks after an initial interview with him. And so I think they're going to have an issue here with their search. But look, if it's Ben Johnson, yes, I will be excited. And I certainly hope that the Jaguars win games next season. But there is no evidence that would suggest to me that this is ever going to be built and where there can be a consistent winner fielded here based on how we know now Shad Khan looks at his football program.
We'll take a break. Phone line's wide open to you now, 641-1010. Time for you to weigh in after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's holiday season, and Nimnick Chevrolet is here for you. Whether you're making memories on the road or continuing family traditions right here in Jacksonville, you can always count on us because there's nobody but Nimnick. Now, that red tag sales event is back at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. And unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. The Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. And oh, by the way, ask about 0% financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. Remember, Nimnik will always give you top dollar for your trade. So if you're looking for a great place to shop over this holiday season, there's only one answer, Nimnik, because there's nobody but Nimnik.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
It's a new year at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. Cash in this month with thrilling promotions and tournaments, including daily high hands and table games clockwork cash out. Giving away $300 cash every 15 minutes and selected weekends at all 3 Best Bet locations. Catch all the excitement in 2025. See all the details and learn the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Imagine a place where the sun is always shining, the drinks are ice cold, and the food is bursting with flavor. Welcome to Hurricane Grill and Wings, where locals and visitors alike gather to weather this storm we call life. And you can escape there anytime you like. Today's forecast, hot, crispy wings with a 100% chance of frothy beers. Later, we're predicting big burgers and seafood tacos moving in. Even better with a Pepsi. HurricaneWings.com.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Jacksonville contractors and business owners, do you need bathroom partitions and accessories? Frank Frangie here. Coyle & Sons has been in business in Jacksonville since 1927. They've earned the reputation of quality and specialized skill. Coyle & Sons are the ones trusted in Jacksonville by the top contractors, and they can stand on their reputation when you need almost 100 years of commercial contractor experience. Coyle & Sons will design it for you. Call them today at 904-356-4821 or visit them at coiljacks.com.
I'm Max Fink, and I'll bring you the Gator Report several times weekly to keep you connected to Gainesville.
The Gator Report, put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go Gators! Everybody, Mike Dempsey here. Listen, I'm all about a sure thing. I like putting my money down knowing I'm going to win, and that's exactly what Awaken 180 was for me, a sure bet. I dropped 25 pounds in just over a month, and let me tell you, the results speak for themselves. Now, imagine this. You start Awaken 180 now, and when February rolls around, you've already lost 20 pounds. Or maybe you're like Matt Hays, down 40 pounds by March, and don't even get me started on Hacker. Dude's lost over 100 pounds. Life-changing results, and I got to see it firsthand. Awaken 180 isn't some gimmick. You eat, you're never starving, and the weight just comes off fast. No guesswork, no crash diets, just a plan that works. And the best part, it's built to last thanks to free support for life. Don't wait for another failed resolution. Start your new year with the program that is the sure bet. Visit Awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. Make sure this year is the year you win big with Awaken 180.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, assistant team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The big news on Black Monday, obviously, is the firing of Coach Doug Peterson, which was a move that many saw coming. But the more shocking part of the story is Shad Khan's decision to retain general manager Trent Baalke. NBC Sports' Mike Florio weighed in on how he thinks the decision to keep Baalke around will affect who will become the next Jaguars head coach on this morning's episode of Pro Football Talk.
That's a bold move by Khan, because what it means is he's not going to get any head coach who has options. The word on the street, and I hear it all the time, and I don't mean this is any disrespect to Trent Baalke. He was on the show in February, but the word on the street is nobody wants to work with him. And anybody that's got juice is going to go somewhere else. And if he's got choices, is going to go somewhere else.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Right, all Jaguar talk today, or mostly Jaguar talk today. Bucky Brooks joins us at the top of the hour. His last report on our program, and he'll talk about, he knows Doug very well, knows the operation very well, is on the sidelines on our broadcast, and he will join us on the program at 5 o'clock to talk Jaguars football and what he thinks about all the things that have gone on. But let's go right to the phones now. Phone lines open to you, 641-1010. If you want to weigh in on the Jaguar stuff, now's the time. I think we're going to kick off with Jonathan. Jonathan, how you doing?
Hey, good, guys. Another Black Monday.
Yeah.
So Florio's 100% right. I don't think that we're going to, get the coach that we really want or really need with the retention of Trent Baalke. I love Shad. I love what he's done for the city. But unfortunately, I think that just Trent's got his ear too much. And I think that the press conference really echoed that. It's Trent's job to get us good players. Really hasn't done that. The depth is terrible. And it was Peterson's job to work with the players that he's got, and he did a bad job. 2 9-8 seasons was great. Definitely give him credit for that. But I can't believe how badly we collapsed this year. It just was unacceptable. So he should have got fired. But
we lose you? Jonathan, we lost you. Apologize for that. But okay, fair enough. Jonathan,
Good call.
Yeah, and his point was right. There's no doubting the fact that certainly Shad relies on Trent. That's the guy he relies on. He relies on his opinion. And I think you're exactly right about that. 641-1010, what do you think about the Jaguars happenings today? Michael's up next. Michael, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, man.
I am bewildered, but given the history since Shad Khan's had the team, I'm not surprised. Shad's going to do what's most convenient, leaving Trent in place where he doesn't have to go through that type of search, and then letting Trent kind of do things is most convenient. And it's just odd that he would kind of say at his press conference, we consider, all options if a coach prospected that, a GM change might need to happen. It'd be something we consider, like that would actually happen with Trent sitting in the room. That's just it's kind of odd. And I mean, and again, to your point about, him investing in the city, I'm glad he's done that. I love it. I wanted the stadium. I want all that good stuff. I mean, you can buy things constantly, and invest in the things, but at some point we want to have fun. We want to enjoy the times and all that. It's like, a sugar daddy buys things for you, and the rest is empty. You know what I mean? We don't need a sugar daddy. We need happiness, and that's what this franchise needs: is happiness and care and actual want to do better. Not just buying a bunch of shiny things and kind of going about our business. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we do get Ben Johnson, or maybe we just get a retread that doesn't have any options like Bill O'Brien or something like that, and we'll just sit in purgatory. But
Michael,
happy Monday, fellas.
Michael, thanks for the call. A few things you said. I think Shad's trying to bring you that happiness. He just hasn't done a very good job of it yet, but I don't think there's a lack of commitment. And, yeah, the investment is real. Hays, what did you make of the comment when Mia asked the question, would you consider, and he said, I would consider anything if it made sense. I didn't take the impression or get the impression that, yeah, if it made sense, I'm going to demote or fire Baalke because one of the candidates said to do so. That's not what I thought he meant. I think what he was trying to say was, we'll be open-minded to suggestions if a different organizational structure makes sense. That's what I took out of that comment.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, Baalke is directing the search. So as a head coach candidate, if this is a job, if you're going to interview for this job, I mean, maybe you're doing it just to get some practice and go through it. But most people that are interviewing, they're going to take the time to do it, have a legitimate interest in the job. Well, if you have a legitimate interest in this job and Trent Baalke is who has contacted you, are you going to sit in a room with Shad Khan, Trent Baalke, and then say that Trent Baalke has to be fired?
Right.
I mean, that doesn't seem like that's going to go over very well. And Shad even alluded to the fact that his radar goes up when things like that are mentioned over, well, are you just all about ego and power? So clearly that's not going to happen. I mean, no candidate is going to convince the owner to get rid of Trent Baalke.
641-1010. Let's go back to the phones. John's weighing in next. Hello, John.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. If it wasn't clear today, painfully clear now that there's just not another football mind that Shad Khan can lean on or that he trusts that he can listen to. Other than Trent Baalke. It's just surprising with all the talent and brain power that's right here, even in Jacksonville, that he could consult with. And one, Frank, I agree with your idea about Tony Baselli. There's people that he can really get some valuable input from that's just, a fingertip away. It's clear that he puts so much trust and value into Trent Baalke. After today, that's just painfully clear, and I'll take the comments off the air. Thank you so much.
Yeah, John, thanks for the call. Yeah, he does. He trusts Trent. Listen, a lot of great leaders who are all over the world. He travels to London and Tokyo and Montreal and all over. You trust your lieutenants in charge. On the business side, Shad Khan totally trusts Mark Lamping. Totally. Well, that's a great move because Mark Lamping's a superstar. Mark Lamping is one of the smartest business people, sports business people you'll ever meet. And by the way, there's the evidence to show. Hays, if there was a scoreboard, if there was a record for sports business leaders, Lamping would be about 15-2 every year. I mean, he's just really good at it. You look at the stadium that's about to be built. Look at that Miller Electric Center. Look at the stuff they've done here. I can tell you, sponsorship sales and getting this community engaged, it's off the chart. I can tell you for a fact that stuff's off the chart. So Shad wants to rely on Baalke in the same way on the football side. As for Baselli, yeah, when I say bring Baselli in, that's not a shot at Baalke. That's not so there can be a demotion of Baalke. The more good ideas, the more good minds, the better. Why not? Put a lot of good minds together. I think Tony Baselli's got a great mind. Let's go to Jason, who's up next. Jason, go ahead, please.
Good evening, gentlemen. Yeah, Mia and Hays clearly asked us questions at the conference. It's scary to me. It's got to scare the whole town listening to Shad and his reactions, answers. He's got nobody to talk to, no football mind to lean on. When he's mentioning Trevor and mentioning a DC we never want to see on the field again here, his coordinators of the brain trust, it's scary. And they should have been a package deal because now, say you bring in a coach, all right, well, the next year a new GM comes because Baalke's got to go. Well, he's just going to want his own coach. And let's not forget, Coach Flo's out there for New England and the Jags.
All right, Jason, thanks for the call. Yeah, the whole alignment thing, I think one of the reasons, too, people expected it, it seemed like it timed out right. If you were going to move on from Doug, if you're one of the people that believed that was the right thing to do, it looked like the timing was right to move on from the general manager as well. I think that's why people expected it. It would have timed to, if your general manager had been here 1 year and your coach 6 years, it wouldn't have, the timing wouldn't have moved out as right. So I think that was part of the surprise and the expectation that didn't happen as well.
Yeah, and again, to me, it was the revelation of Trent Baalke is not the general manager here. I mean, that might be his title, but it is clear that Shad Khan views him as a partner that cannot be fired. And that was really startling. Again, when he was asked about who do you lean on outside of Trent when it comes to football decisions, he went on, he talked about a head coach he had just fired, an offensive coordinator who he is, I'm assuming, going to be fired, a defensive coordinator who's going to be fired. He talked about players. He talked about Ethan Waugh, who is Trent Baalke's lieutenant. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Ethan Waugh is usually behind Trent Baalke's decisions. And he talked about the analytics team that his son runs. So, I mean, there is just a vacuum. And then Shad talked about, you know, other owners, which is fine if you're talking about like a civil issue, if you're talking about something in regards to a stadium or something with a city, then yeah, by all means, other owners are a good resource to lean on through the trials and tribulations that they've had with their respective cities. But you don't ask other owners for information when it comes to the Lombardi Trophy. That is the game here. That is what we're all trying to win, Shad. So when you talk to other owners about something to do with the actual football product, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're probably not going to give you the best advice. Why should they? You're competing for the same prize they are competing for.
Back to the phones. Let's talk to Darren. Darren, you're up next. How you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Going back to last year's year-end press conference, Baalke constantly was saying that we've got to do a better job of getting these guys up to speed, and we go right back to Smith this year of drafting him, and he doesn't even play half of the year, part of the year, but yet he drafted him. So I don't know if Shad is believing the con man and saying that, hey, I'm drafting these guys, and we're getting good guys, good players, but you know what? Doug and this coaching staff does not have the ability to bring them up to speed and get them on the field. They cannot develop them, and I think that's how he sold it. That's the way I feel.
Darren, thank you for the call. Only Shad and Trent know what's going on in their conversation with each other. None of us are privy to those. But regardless of where he got the information or why he has the opinion he does, I'll reiterate what I said at the top, and Hays agreed with this. It's very clear that Shad believes the coaching was the problem. He said that. He said it on his press conference. He said, we think we have good players. We think we have a good roster. Where we failed is in the coaching. We were too predictable. We failed in the coaching, so we made a change with the coaching. We didn't think another change, at least for now, was necessary. So to your point, wherever that information came from, that was clearly Shad's opinion today. Let's go to Tom. Tom, you're next up. Go ahead.
A couple things. Number one, Trent was the one that hired Peterson, so if Peterson wasn't the right coach, he's involved. I wish today that we would have actually brought numbers into it, such as Trent has made 38 draft picks or whatever it is, and of those 38 picks, we've had 1, 2, 3, whatever Pro Bowl appearances, and then go and look at the Detroit Lions and say their GM in the last 4 years has had X number of draft picks, and here's how many have been in the Pro Bowl. The difference is night and day. Nobody really brought up to Shad, here's the difference. A good GM has brought in this many Pro Bowl-type players. We haven't. Now, I agree that Trent would probably say, well, that's because of coaching, not because of anything else, which, again, it would be he hired the coach. And with Trent, he has not had a long-term relationship with any of his coaches, including Jim Harbaugh, who is proving to be a very good coach. He already has turned around the Chargers. He turned around San Francisco, but he couldn't get along with Baalke. So he's the one that was out. All the owners listen to Baalke. For whatever reason, they listen to him. So I'll take your comments off the air.
Tom, thanks for the call.
Yeah, I mean, again, this isn't anything new. This is why Trent Baalke has the reputation he has in this league, because this isn't the first time we've seen NFL reporters from around the nation be stunned that Shad Khan is elected to retain Trent Baalke, because this reputation does go back to those infamous days in San Francisco when he had a Super Bowl team, but Jim Harbaugh was getting the credit, and Trent Baalke didn't like that. And Trent Baalke won a power struggle. I mean, how he did it, we'll never know.
Jed York is the owner.
Yeah, and then it's one of those things that Trent Baalke obviously has a gift for owner whispering. We have a quarterback whisperer. But he is an owner whisperer.
Are you comparing Baalke to Denny Thompson?
I'm
just saying.
I'm saying Denny actually is good at what he does. But yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to if you can get an owner, if you can get Jed York to think that you are more of an asset to the organization than Jim Harbaugh, who went on to win a national title at Michigan and has now got the Chargers in the playoffs in his first year, then obviously you have an incredible gift of being able to get an owner to see your side of things. And that's exactly what's happened here. Of course, Trent Baalke blamed last season's collapse on, the coaches didn't get the young players ready. We had some injuries. The good organizations, those players step right in, but our coaches ignored those guys, so they never developed. So when we needed them late in the year, they didn't know what to do. And then it continued this season, in terms of putting it. Obviously, again, when Shad Khan says we were the most unpredictable team in the NFL on both sides of the ball.
Or predictable.
I mean, predictable. Yeah. Thank you. He is getting that from Trent Baalke. That is not anything that he got anywhere else other than the general manager saying our coaching staff is lousy. And then somehow Trent Baalke, to Darren's point, is never brought to be culpable by Shad Khan over the decision to hire the coach that you've now just been criticizing for a year and a half. So it really is, it's remarkable. But again, it speaks to, Trent Baalke is not a general manager here. He is a partner. He is a partner with Shad Khan in this, and he will never be fired.
Let's get into more calls here. E is up next. Go ahead, E.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I think the most kind of condemning kind of comment that came out of the press today was firing 85 people if you had to fire Trent Baalke. It just speaks to the fact that Shad is truly just getting his information from Trent. The idea that you'd have to fire 85 people to get rid of the GM makes absolutely no sense. And I think the most disheartening part is just reading all the people on Twitter who are canceling their season tickets because of the decision today. I mean, I think it really is just a somber day in Jacksonville, and I really think, and I hope that we make the right decision. I really am just at a loss for words. Thank you for taking my call.
Hey, thank you for the call. Let me go to Steven, who's up next. Steven, go ahead, please.
Thanks, guys, for taking my call. I guess I'm just confused on how a man who's, has made so much immense wealth is still just so confused and so lost on how to run this organization. It just baffles my mind. Like, your goal as the owner is to build a winning team and to build a fan base, and none of that's happening. In fact, it's the complete opposite. You're losing fans. You're losing fans who've invested hundreds of dollars year in and year out, who are now just become, basically they don't care to watch the team anymore. Like, it's just the complete opposite of what an owner in a legitimate functioning franchise is supposed to do. And it blows my mind that this guy can't grasp that. Do you guys feel the same way? Like,
Stephen, thank you.
Or is this just...
No, thank you for the call. Let me weigh in on all of it. We appreciate you taking the time to make the call. Let me say this about that. There's a lot of very, very, very smart, ridiculously successful business people in the world who didn't win as sports owners. That Shad's not the first really smart businessman, really rich business person that's tried really hard. I will never condemn Shad's effort. He wants to win here. He hasn't gotten it right yet. We've talked about a lot of the reasons why Hays underscores some things about putting a lot of attention or giving a lot of the clout to your general manager. But it's not that this Shad Khan is not a good man, not a man trying very hard. I'll defend him on that. He just hasn't gotten it right yet. So as far as Shad, I think he's trying very hard to get it right. Today's conversation was more, at least for now, about moving on from the coach and not from the general manager. But great work by our callers. You did a great job. We'll do that again throughout the week. I think you've made some good points. We won't make this the only day we take some calls, so nice work. I appreciate it very much. But when we come back, let's say hello to our friend Bucky Brooks. That's next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Every day in Duval reminds us why we live here.
You rise up onto bridges over the St. Johns River far below, and Jacksonville shines from a number of angles, like a jewel being turned in your hand.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here, and I can't say enough good things about the team at Sunshine Turf and the work they've done for us. Let Sunshine Turf transform your backyard into a low-maintenance oasis that will be green all year long with artificial turf. Caleb and his team can help you create the lush outdoor space of your dreams, whether you want a durable place for your kids to play or you're ready to say goodbye to muddy paw prints. Visit sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 for a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
When the heat's on high or the chill is too much, who you gonna call? Cool Cats Heating and Cooling is locally owned and operated with a perfect touch. You'll keep your home just right, day or night. AC to heating, don't take a beating. Call the coolest cats in town. With a 5-star Google rating, they're your neighbors, ready to help. So get your paw of approval from Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town. CoolCatsJacks.com.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
The 1010XL Restaurant of the Day is Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island, Clay County's first and only craft brewery and sourdough bakery with full table service at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island.
He may have started his career somewhere else, but he found his home in Duval.
Join me, Jeff Logman, for Check the Tape Tuesday on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Jack's Napa Auto Care Group.com. Go to the pros Napa know-how on 1010XL.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, contact Florida First Insurance Group on University Boulevard, an award-winning Florida Blue agency well known for providing superior service. Theo Mitchelson and his team at Florida First make the process easy and stress-free with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Contact Theo Mitchelson and the Florida First Insurance Group today and let your health be their priority. And a reminder for Florida Blue members, visit Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations in town offering primary care, walk-in services, and on-site pharmacy and mental health support. Sanitas Medical Center. Florida First Insurance Group and Sanitas Medical Center. A winning team in Northeast Florida.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
Southampton invites you to enjoy a round of golf and then a round with your buds, thanks to their game day special. Every Saturday and Sunday during the season, order up 10 wings and a cold pitcher for just $22. Plus, being a member at Southampton has its privileges, like a $500 gift card when you join with a paid initiation fee. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Twilight golf every day with special rates after 3 o'clock. Don't forget trivia Thursday nights and music on the patio Friday night. All at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. The North Florida men's basketball team played their second game of conference play this past Saturday, losing to Lipscomb 96-64. Lipscomb took an early lead 15-6 within the first minutes of the game, and the Ospreys were unable to catch up. Ospreys head coach Matt Driscoll spoke postgame and was frustrated on what the team is missing these past few games to be successful.
There's got to be a way. We had 11 assists. I think we made 13 threes in both games combined. I don't think our guys are doing the little things that we need to do in order to be successful. I think we've gotten away from it for whatever reason. We went 2-a-days. We hit all those things that you do when you come back, especially with a group like this. To their credit, they came in and they whooped us. They whooped us in every single phase you could whoop us in. I don't think anyone's ever had a triple-double against us before in our career. To their credit, they were really, really, really special, and our guys didn't respond.
It's 70 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The buck stops here. Time now for Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Coyle & Sons, Jacksonville's commercial fence specialist, on the Frangie Show.
All right, we do thank our friends from Coyle & Sons. I'm going to see them tomorrow morning. As a matter of fact, they're doing a big project for us at our new ballpark for walk-off charities. You can find out more about them at coiljacks.com. You can call them at 904-356-4821. They've been doing it in Jacksonville since 1927. They're the best in the business. You need a commercial fence or overhead doors or anything of the like, call our friends at Coyle & Sons, 904-356-4821. Bucky Brooks joins us for the final time this year. Bucky, a crazy day, crazy last couple days. What did you make of all the events? Doug Peterson out as the Jaguars coach. Trent Baalke remains as the general manager. What was your take?
Oh, man. Frank, this is I won't say a weird one. It's one that kind of caught me by surprise because you go through all the scenarios, right? So you're thinking, okay, Doug in, Baalke out, both guys out. The scenario that you didn't think the most about was like Doug being out and Trent staying on. But then I started thinking about it, and I started kind of like looking at how the game played out in terms of the year. And you started thinking about the young players playing, right? Brian Thomas Jr. plays. Mason Smith plays well. Jerry Jones plays well. You think about Trey Prince showing up and playing well. That in spite of some of the misses in free agency, it's hard to knock some of the players that have been drafted of late. Parker Washington, Britton Strange. And so I could see where if you have the conversation and you talk about the talent being good and the young talent being good, and then you may have some questions about, well, did the coaches play the young guys? Was there resistance to play the young guys? I could see where Baalke was able to make a case to stay on and continue to build the team because there are some intriguing pieces. It hasn't been put together the way that we want it to,
And so I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt on that part, that the talent is there. Maybe you can find the right culture builder, right team builder to put it together so you can have a winning product on the field.
Bucky, now that we do know the Jaguars are searching for a head coach, who are some names that are high up on your list?
So now here's the thing. Most coaches that are high at the top, they're going to want to have a level of autonomy to work with the people they want to work with when it comes to personnel. With Trent Baalke staying on, they may shrink the pool a little bit because of, the dynamic. And let's be honest, full transparency, there are going to be people that think that the Baalke experience is not a good experience based on the coaches that have worked with him and have found their way out. Jim Harbaugh, Jim Tom Sula, Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson. So those voices travel when it comes to, hey, would I be interested in this job? So it changes things. Will you be able to get a Ben Johnson to want to come down to Jacksonville and deal in a situation like that? Maybe not if he has other options. I think what you're looking at is the names that people throw out. They're talking about Joe Brady up in Buffalo. They're talking about Liam Cohen in Tampa Bay. I'll throw out a name, maybe Vance Joseph in Denver, the D coordinator, because he has a previous relationship with Trent Baalke going back to the days in San Francisco. But I'll say this, and fans, it's easy for us to get caught up in this. We don't need a play caller. We need a culture builder. The person that's the head coach needs to be able to build the culture and set the standards for what are expected for the players on and off the field, in between the lines, how we go about it. So if we get caught up thinking that, this person has a great call sheet and we can play Madden and make all these things, that's not what is going to give us sustained success. We got to make sure that we pick the right leader. And if they can call plays, great, but leadership is more important than the schematic.
That is a great point. That is a really good point, because I think fans, and listen, fans get excited. It's short for fanatic. I'm a fan. We're all fans. So we do tend to get excited about Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen or Joe Brady because we want offense, and these young offensive guys are very good. That's you need a leader. Having said that, Bucky, I think there are guys like Kevin O'Connell and Sean McVay that are both, right? That are very good leaders of men, but also very good offensive minds. Of the group that's out there, do you have a good feeling about any of those guys? Do any of us know enough about any of that group to think that this guy might be a little bit of a full package?
That's the thing, right? No one really knows.
Right.
Here's what I said, and I want to take it from like a devil's advocate standpoint, but saying I love the people that we're going to talk about. Okay, so you can look in everybody's past that we're talking about and say, I got some questions about X, Y, and Z. So Joe Brady was hot name, comes from LSU, goes to Carolina as the offensive coordinator. Probably shortly thereafter, goes to Buffalo and remakes his career with Josh Allen as his quarterback. Liam Cohen goes from the Rams to Kentucky, doesn't really get it done as offensive coordinator there, finds his way back to the league, has success in Tampa. Ben Johnson is kind of the unknown because everything about Detroit is all about Dan Campbell and the culture. He's front and center. So Johnson has the ability to kind of stay in the shadows and call plays. So all of them are really unknown. That's why this process has to be very extensive and exhaustive to really figure out who the person is. Because the person that you're hiring to be the head coach, he has to be the same way, good and bad. Man, we lose 4 games in a row. I need to see the same person walking in and out the building that came in doing a 5-game winning streak. And so you got to dig into not only what they say they're going to do, X and O's, but talk to the people around them. How do they handle losing streaks? How do they handle winning? Are they ready to be in front of the room? What is their personality like? How do they get along with others in the building? There's so much that goes into being a head coach that doesn't have anything to do with calling plays. So it's going to be a challenge. And Shad, I know he put out there that he wanted unpredictability and those things. And I cringed a little bit when I saw that because I was like, man, don't get the play caller.
Right.
Get the leader. Because Doug Peterson was viewed as a great play caller before he got there. Get the leader. We can always find play call.
Quick follow-up question. That's a great point. I love the point. Quick follow-up tip. Can you hope that, you don't know for sure, but can you hope that Ben Johnson, because he's under Dan Campbell, who's a great culture builder, or Joe Brady, who's under Sean McDermott, who seems to be a very good culture builder, tough guys, and their teams play with a toughness, do you think a coordinator or a play caller who's been under a guy that's built a great culture, that could help that could make him kind of know how to do it? I'm stretching here a little bit, but is there something there?
No, you're there. Now I think, look, a lot of times, man, we're influenced by the things that we've been around. And so when you've been around a great culture, you've been in a winning environment, naturally your tendency is to try to recreate that in your new spot with your own spin on it. It's really important that when you're asking the questions of the prospective head coach, you talk about culture and team building and how you handle those things and who's coming with you. And a lot of times people think who's coming with you in terms of X's and O's. And I'm saying no, the diversity of staff, not diversity in terms of racial lines, but diversity in terms of personality. Good cop, bad cop. Guy that's emotional, guy that's a little more cerebral. Do you have enough balance in your coaching staff to kind of suit the different types of players that you have on your team? When I look at our team is comprised of really good guys. But do we need somebody that can get the poker out and kind of get them going a little bit? Yes. Do we need somebody that can rationalize and reason with them? Yes. So it's important that your staff has enough diversity of thought that you're able to really reach the players where they're at.
Bucky, there will be some activity that the club can engage in terms of free agency. They don't have a mountain of cap space, but they have some. What would you like to see in terms of the roster brought in here from a free agency perspective and with that 5th overall pick?
Man, it's so hard to even think about the free agent part. Let's start with the draft first. I think it's really important that when you're picking in the top 5, whoever you select must be a guy that can be a blue chip player. Okay, so when we're thinking in the top 10, we're talking about guys that you can envision being multiple-time Pro Bowlers, guys that at the highest, they can be gold jacket guys. So at 5, that guy needs to be a dominant player from day one. You like to think interior defensive line, right? Someone on the inside. People are trying to associate Mason Graham from Michigan as a guy that might be right in that wheelhouse. It might be a cornerback. There'll be a couple corners that people will talk about. Everyone will talk about Travis Hunter, but then maybe a Will Johnson from a Michigan that can play. I think in free agency is about filling in the gaps and what we need. There's still some work that can be done on the offensive line. There's a ton of work that needs to be done on the defensive line when it comes to pass rush and run stopping presence. We need corners and safeties. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But I would say this, before you look at the skill level, you better make sure the guys are the right fit, meaning winning pedigree, super competitive people that may have alpha personalities. That's more important than the other stuff. I think we can figure out how to play with them. I think it's really important that the guys in the locker room are the right fit from a personality standpoint.
Bucky, final thing. You know this team well. You know this league well. Shad was asked today, does he anticipate a quick turnaround and suddenly they're a good team? And he says that he does. Now, again, the premise of his presser today was that the roster is pretty good. The failure was the coaching. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but that was where he was. That was where his head was. So let me ask you, how quickly, in your opinion, can they become a competitive 10 or 11 win team? How far away are they from that?
Well, I mean, things can change quickly in the league because when you finish the way that you finish, you get a schedule that's not as heavy as some.
Right.
So you have a more competitive schedule for what you want to do. And then it's about, can the new coach and the GM be fully aligned to make sure that the players that are brought in fit and suit the vision of the coaching staff? And will the coaches be willing to play the young guys that the front office says these young guys are ready to play? We got to give them opportunities. There are a lot of things that go with that, but, yeah, it can happen. We saw Kevin O'Connell orchestrate a quick turnaround. Dan Quinn did a quick turnaround in Washington. They're different because, they had full makeovers, but it certainly can be done. You just got to have the right leader that can do it.
Bucky Brooks checking in all year long. Has had a fun time talking Jaguar football with us. Bucky, we've enjoyed it, brother. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Hey, man, just don't throw me away because the regular season is over. You can call me. I can talk. We got something to talk about.
We'll talk. We're gonna talk draft with this guy. By the way, he'll be at the combine. We're gonna drag his ass in there in the combine too. So we'll do it for sure. Bucky, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. See you,
all right, man. Talk to you.
All right, my buddy Bucky Brooks is a lot of fun to hang out with. By the way, all-time good guy. All-time. I know until he started doing Jag stuff, I didn't know Bucky, but he is a fun guy, and boy, what a knowledgeable football guy.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun having him on for sure.
Really does a good job. All right, we'll take a break. Hays has got news to know. There's actually some other things going on in the world of sports, I'm told. I don't know what they are. You'll tell us what they are in a minute. Hays has got headlines after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We may not have the most talent. We're not the biggest or strongest, but we've got something no one else has. We're 1010XL. Let's get them.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Start your new year off healthy. Get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, and kidney. Early detection is key with 5 locations across Northeast Florida. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Lifetime Enclosures right now running an awesome special for January. Get a complete enclosure done, get free flooring. Now that can save you some money. If you just need flooring, Lifetime Flooring also running a buy one room, get the second room free. Once again, only for January. Now offering flooring coating as well. So give them a call. I know I did. Visit their showrooms just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hacker here, and for the first time in nearly 20 years, I finally get to have a different resolution. Like most of you, mine was always to lose weight. I'd try something for a few weeks, maybe lose a pound or two, and then give up. Well, I tried. Starting the new year with Awaken 180 isn't a try. It's a sure thing. And why will you stick with it? Because instead of a pound or two, you'll see results right out of the gate. We all need motivation. After my first 3 weeks with Awaken 180, I was already down 30 pounds. Granted, I had a lot of weight to lose, but look at Dempsey, look at Matt Hays. Those guys had results out of the gate too. Dempsey dropped 9 pounds his first week, Matt dropped 12 pounds. Regardless of the weight you need to drop, seeing those fast results will motivate you to reach your goal. Guys, girls, losing weight regardless of how many times you've tried is possible with Awaken 180. Make the sure bet and make 2025 the last time losing weight is your New Year's resolution. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If fishing is in your DNA, hop in the boat with Captain Kevin. It's the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Hope everyone had a profitable NFL regular season betting with MyBookie. The college football playoff marches on with the football Final Four. Notre Dame is favored by 1.5 over Penn State Thursday night. The over-under for this game at MyBookie is 47 points. This matchup suggests a relatively close contest, and we know anything can happen. We're taking a look at betting the over here on points total. Friday night, Ohio State is the favorite team by 6 points against Texas. I'm going Longhorns here in a bit of an upset, but that's a lot of points. 6 points. I like Texas there. If you haven't signed up yet, sign up now at MyBookie and still get a 50% deposit bonus. That's half your money back on your first deposit up to $1,000. Your promo code is 1010XL. That's promo code 1010XL for a 50% deposit bonus. So make yourself some cash with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
New Year's resolutions. But let's be honest, by February, that gym membership is just a $50 a month guilt trip.
So why not take that cash and finally fix your leaky faucet, unclog that drain, or tune up your AC?
Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning has your back. Start the year fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses.
It's a resolution you'll actually keep.
Call Duck Rooter at 904-862-6769 today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sunny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10 the pork and rib combo for $12, and all-you-can-eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention?
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. We've got JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we are going to start with the story of the day. We have talked about it, but give us another thought. Doug Peterson out as head coach. Trent Baalke staying as general manager with the Jaguars.
Yeah, my thought was I want the Jags to be great. And Trent's going to stay. He's going to coordinate the search. I hope he gets a great coach. I'm very excited about what I think this team can be, and I'm on board. I would have liked to have seen Doug Peterson get another year. I said that before, and I feel that way. I think he's a really good football coach. He made some mistakes. Got to get defense figured out. But I think he's a good football coach. I would have liked to see one more year. He leaves as the only coach in Jaguars history, 30 years, 7 coaches. He's the only coach in Jaguar history that will leave with more winning seasons than losing seasons. That's never been done before. He'll leave with a 5-1 record and 833 winning percentage against the Titans. That's never been done before. He's never had a losing season in the division. That's never been done before. I kind of hate to see him go. I wish he had one more year. But hey, look, they're trying to get it right. Shad's trying to get it right. I hope Trent finds the perfect guy, and we move forward.
The Jaguars did lose the season finale yesterday to the Indianapolis Colts, 26-23 in overtime. What were your thoughts about the game?
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the game, have we? Isn't that funny? It is such a microcosm of their season. I mean, we were even laughing about it during the broadcast, Hays. Just a microcosm that 10 times of their 13 losses, 10 of those, 10, came down to one score, one play in the last minute and a half, or in this case, overtime. The winning play, either the winning offensive play or the winning defensive play, or in yesterday's case, both came down to the end of the game. So a very fitting microcosm to their season.
Let's get it to Brian Thomas Jr., the massive bright spot for the Jaguars this season. The final numbers are in. 87 catches for 1,282 yards, a 14.7-yard average with 10 receiving touchdowns. Thomas ranked 3rd in the NFL in yards and tied for 6th in touchdowns.
I think he is going to wind up being one of the best players in the NFL. We are in the age of the mega receiver. Jamar Chase is a mega receiver. Justin Jefferson is a mega receiver. Brian Thomas Jr. is a mega receiver. It is interesting that they all three went to the same college. But I think we're in the age of the mega. Tyreek Hill's a mega receiver. We're in the age of the mega receiver, and he's going to fit right in. I think he's going to be one of the 4 or 5 best receivers in the league and one of the 10, 15 best players in the league. I think he's going to be that good.
Let's move it to the AFC South. It appears the Jaguars will have the only job that comes open. Obviously, Houston's won the division, but Jim Irsay announced right after that win, about an hour after the Colts finale, that Shane Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard will be returning. And then Tennessee, it looks like Brian Callahan, Rand Carthon, they met with the media today, which is obviously a very good sign that they will be retained. So it appears like the Jaguars will be the only job opening in the division.
You know, I was thinking about the division too, Hays. And when you've done something a long time, like the old guys or the old heads or whatever they call the old people are, you have to change your thinking when the times change. And I listen, I've done this a long time. I'm 38 years in the radio business, 40 plus in the media business. The University of Florida football team, before Steve Spurrier or before Ron Zook, never had a coach there for fewer than 5 years. In the NFL, Tom Coughlin was here 8 years. Jack Del Rio was here 8 years. I'm used to coaches getting a chance to build it and stay with it. Doug Peterson was fired after 3. Shane Steichen was on the hot seat, a very hot seat, after 2. Brian Callahan almost got fired after 1. Gerard Mayo just got fired after 1. The world has changed so much that almost the minute you get hired, you're on the hot seat. Certainly after a year, you're definitely on the hot seat. So I've had to get used to that. I'm trying to get there, Hayes. I'm trying to get to that's where we are today. It's still clunky for me. But, yeah, at least for next year, the Jags will have a new coach and everybody else's coach will come back.
You mentioned New England. What do the Patriots do now that they're looking for a new head coach?
And by the way, Vrabel would probably be the top of my list. Mike Vrabel, I think he's a really good football coach. I think that's obvious. I think the narrative's correct. I don't always agree with the narrative. I think the narrative's correct here. They were going to keep Mayo another year or so. Vrabel became available because he's been available because he wasn't working this year other than a consultant. But Vrabel was available. He became a hot name. The Jets talked to him. There was a lot of movement there. I think Robert Kraft fired Mayo so he could go hire Mike Vrabel.
We thought the Giants might be in a battle with the Jaguars in terms of that coaching carousel, but they will not be. A little bit of a surprise. Brian Daboll and GM Joe Schoen staying. The Giants ownership, the mayor is not willing to at this point launch a new era of Giants football.
Yeah, and again, for me, I like that. I'm a big believer, and in fairness to Shad, he's always been this guy too. Whether this was a quick hook or not, he certainly hasn't been a quick hook guy with his head coaches. Just to be fair to the guy. But I like the let's make sure he's not the right guy before we run him off mentality. Let's be sure. Again, that's where I was with Doug. And so if I was a Giants fan, I know. Look, fans want the guy fired. The FFA Society, fired fixes all. I get it. All fans want all coaches fired. I get it. But I like the fact that let's make sure he's not the right guy before we run him off.
In Sunday Night Football, the Lions take the number 1 seed in the NFC by beating Minnesota soundly, 31-9. The Vikings 0 for 4 in the red zone.
Yeah, that was a whooping. The Lions, even with all the guys hurt, man, that's a good football team. You know, we all talk about the defensive guys because there's so many of them. I thought losing David Montgomery would be the big thing because he and Gibbs alternated so perfectly. Boy, Jahmyr Gibbs now. Now that he's the guy, ooh, is he fast. What an explosive player. The Lions are very good.
Yeah, he's a superstar. The Broncos roll over the resting Chiefs to secure the final AFC playoff spot. Can Denver perhaps give Buffalo a run?
Denver's pretty damn good. Denver would be a playoff team that could shock the world if they weren't going to Buffalo to kick it off. Does that make sense? They could shock the world. Unfortunately, they'd have to really shock the world because they'd have to do it in their first game. Yeah, they can hang around, but I don't think they'll win the game.
Let's get to college football. Some portal additions for a lot of the schools we cover. We'll start with the Gators. They get UAB safety Adrian Maddox. It is Billy Napier's 5th portal addition and somebody that should really be able to help them in the secondary.
Yeah, he's proven he's very good at getting these portal guys. Almost every one of them are a factor. And so I would guess that Maddox will be as well. I'm a little surprised it's only 5 guys. I didn't think they were – FSU's at 14. I didn't think they were going to do that. There's Ole Miss is at 16, I think. I don't think they were going to do that. But I thought they'd be at 7 or 8 or 9 guys now, so I'm surprised it's only 5, but I think it'll help the cause.
Let's get it to the Knowles. They get Tennessee receiver Squirrel White. Really a playmaker.
Good player.
Somebody that can do something with the ball in his hands. What'd you make of that?
I like what they're doing. I told you this before. They had such a miserable season. Mike Norvell, for better or worse, he is all in, man. He fired half his staff. He hired new staff members. Both coordinators brought him in. He's got 14 guys in the portal. I looked at it yesterday. Castellanos, the quarterback. Hayes, he's got 4 offensive linemen that I think will all start. So he's got four offensive linemen. He's got the big receiver from USC, Deuce Robinson, I think his name is, 6'6", very much like Johnny Wilson, only a little bit faster. Squirrel White's a good player. They've got some defensive guys, 2 or 3 from Nebraska. It will be, other than the fact that the uniforms will look the same, there'll be nobody back from last year. It's of all the changes, this one seems to be the most enormous. Who are these guys change anyone's made in a long time?
Absolutely. Jaden Rashada is leaving Georgia, so we will see. But that quarterback has entered the portal, obviously. Started at Florida, left Florida, sued Billy Napier, went to Arizona State. It didn't work out there. Went to Georgia, didn't work out there.
And if you forgot, committed to Miami before all of it.
That's right.
Committed to Miami. decommitted, committed to Florida, went to Florida, left Florida, went to Arizona State, left Arizona State, went to Georgia, now leaving Georgia. Look, he was a big attention guy because his camp was better at getting those NIL dollars committed than other camps were. So fast, though, that they got ones committed that weren't really committed. But I saw tape of the guy. You know me, I'm a geek for quarterback tape. I'm weird that way. We all have our stuff, right? I saw a lot of quarterback tape on him. I don't think he's very good. But I said that when he was at Florida. It's not because he left Florida, he's at Georgia. I said, you know that. You were sitting there next to me. I watched his tape. I don't think he's very good.
Yeah, and I think Georgia agreed. Let's get it to college basketball. The Gators fall at Kentucky 106-100. The Wildcats shot 57.8% and were 14 of 29 from the three-point line.
One guy, the transfer from Dayton,
he's unbelievable.
He's just stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Lee Humphrey and Steph Curry all rolled into one. Great shooter.
I don't think he missed I think everything was a swish.
He shot them like layups. He's one of those guys that shoots three-pointers like layups. I think Kentucky's very good. I think Florida played their tail off. The game was Florida needs games like that because they played a soft preseason schedule, a pre-conference schedule. So they needed that game. I would love to look. They weren't going 31-0. The 4 toughest games they're going to have, or the 4 plus the Tennessee home game, were at Kentucky, at Tennessee, at Alabama, at Auburn. Do you realize they play at all 4 of those?
Oh, wow.
They're at Kentucky, at Tennessee, at Alabama, at Auburn. The only return game they get is Tennessee, which is tomorrow. But but look, I think they've got a really good team. Even though they lost that game, the fact that they can go 15 rounds, and that place was loud, man. I mean, I've been in Rupp when Rupp it was crazy. You could tell. Even before Dan Shulman started going, my goodness, this place is crazy. You could tell.
Yeah.
It was gonna be hard to win there, and they almost did.
Yeah, give those fans a lot of credit because the 11 a.m. tip, that did not slow them down.
Not a bit, man.
But yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was a bad performance at all for Florida, and in a lot of ways, I think was encouraging as they move forward. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. We're not quite on the anniversary of this, but it is close.
I'll take close.
Because if you saw Boston at the Jacksonville Coliseum in 1979, yesterday was the anniversary of seeing that show. So yes, we always like to focus on old concerts, bands that have rolled through here over the years. Boston visited Jacksonville yesterday in 1979. This is, of course, More Than a Feeling.
You know what? I didn't know that. Of all the concerts that have come through here, and I was in school at Gainesville at the time, so I might not have been here, but how did I miss that one? One of my 5 favorite bands. And, you know, that was when Brad Delp was still alive. You know that concert rocked, don't you? Great way to end it. I did not know that. Did not know they came through here then. So the great band Boston, particularly then, they lost Brad Delp to suicide, sadly, much later. But boy, what a great band when he was around. Back to wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
With the NFL playoffs now set, the Detroit Lions are the betting favorite to win Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. The Lions at 15-2, the number 1 seed in the NFC, plus 300 to capture the title. Kansas City going for their 3rd straight Super Bowl win are plus 350. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC. The Baltimore Ravens at plus 550 to win the Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills, the 2 seed in the AFC, are also plus 550. The Eagles are the 2 seed in the NFC. They are plus 650. The Minnesota Vikings at 14-3 are plus 1,400. The Green Bay Packers are plus 1,600. The Los Angeles Chargers plus 3,000. Tampa Bay also plus 3,000 to win the Super Bowl. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the G-Bank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Aunt Linda clogged the guest bathroom. Your nephew thought the AC was a snow machine. And let's not even talk about the kitchen sink after that turkey grease incident. Ooh.
Congratulations, your family finally left. But the mess stayed behind.
Don't worry. Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning can fix it all. From backed up pipes to overworked AC units, we've got you covered.
Start the new year fresh because your house deserves it.
Call Duck Duck Rooter today at 904-862-6769. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Hey guys, it's your boy E.T. And you need a little extra boost in the bedroom? Blue Chew is what you need. By now you probably know that Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. So what you waiting for? Blue Chew is all online. No doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Plus, it ships right to your front door in a discreet package. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strengths for your prescription. Guys, if you don't like swallowing pills, no problem. Blue Chew is chewable. And ready for a great offer? How about free? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, and get your first month free. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. Just chew it and do it. Visit BlueChew.com.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnick Chevrolet. Frank Frangie here. As we kick off 2025, there's no better time to find your next vehicle. Start the year strong with the best selection, unbeatable prices, and a team that's here to help you every step of the way. Because when it comes to putting you first, there's nobody but Nimnick. Remember, Nimnick Chevrolet is your Silverado headquarters. With the largest inventory on the ground, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick. Visit the showroom on Cassett Avenue or head to nimnickchevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
A meal and sparkling conversation.
Helmets and heels.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Just behave, okay?
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Tax season is here, and your refund can go further at Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Put the extra cash to work by investing in your vehicle, whether it's overdue maintenance, brake repairs, or new tires. Their skilled technicians will help you get the most out of every dollar. With 5 Jacksonville locations, fair prices, and trusted service, Big Chief Tire has everything you need to hit the road with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Brian Thomas Jr.'s unforgettable rookie season has officially come to a close. Thomas set records for Jaguars rookies in receiving yards, receptions, and receiving touchdowns this season and is well on his way to becoming a superstar. Listen to Thomas's thoughts on playing all 17 games in his rookie season and how he is going to approach the offseason.
Just being able to finish out the season healthy, it means a lot to me. Like I said, finish out and be healthy. It's just a great start. Just more to come. Just want to take a break first, get my body right. Then when it's time to work, then I'll be ready to work. So I'm gonna take this time off for a little bit first, then I'll be back working.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where have we been on the course of the program today? We certainly talked about the firing of Doug Peterson, the retaining of Trent Baalke. We did that throughout the course of the show. In fact, Hays and I both weighed in, and we took some of your calls. You did a great job, a caller segment as well, to talk about that on the course of the program today. Bucky Brooks checked in and also talked about it. He's our sideline reporter. He does a fantastic job talking NFL football with us. Good to have Bucky on the show as well. And we had Hays' headlines, which were terrific as well. And that has been where we've been throughout the course of the program today. It's interesting. It was a long season because seasons tend to get longer when you're not playing well. Jags struggled. There was a 2-week trip to London in addition to all that, or 10, 12 days. I don't know how I feel about everything. Disappointed the way it went. Would have given Doug another year. I said that. But I know I went into the season thinking it was a really, really talented roster, talented football team. And I'm still shaking my head a little bit. I know the tenor of the press conference today, and that's Shad's opinion. He's the owner of the team. But his opinion was that the roster is well built. There were enough good players there. The problem was in the coaching. The problem was in predictable coaching on both sides of the ball, which is why Doug Peterson was relieved of his duties and Trent Baalke was not. But I don't know that I believe that was all of it. I feel a little bit numb, but at the same time, I can't wait to see who they get, and I'm going to be excited about what I hope next year is.
Yeah, I think this was a day of sadness for Jaguar fans because I think it's now apparent that that you have an owner that doesn't really get what winning is about in this league, and that's sad. Shad he's done amazing things in terms of infrastructure. He spends when Trent Baalke wants something, Shad will spend the money to go get it. But it's clear that Shad doesn't get what a general manager is in the NFL. Shad's view of Trent Baalke is clearly, from his comments in his press conference today in response to questions, it's clear he views him as a partner. Now, it's a minority partner. Shad is the boss, but that Baalke almost is a piece that cannot be removed. That to remove Trent Baalke is to remove 80 people that work for the Jaguars, which certainly is not the case, is certainly not the case in the other 31 clubs. So I think it's a tough day because this was Shad Khan's worst day as owner. Because you got some illumination today by his answers that they may stumble into some success here and there, but it is going to be awfully difficult to build a consistent winner here with how Shad Khan views the general manager role in an NFL organization. And I'll give you an example as to why that's a problem. The head coach, the general manager, and the owner, that's sort of a trinity of your football operation. That's the traditional model that most clubs have. Well, you would like the head coach and the general manager to be aligned, for them to be on the same timeline, for them to feel like they're in it together. And it's not necessarily them against the owner, but it's them working in conjunction for the best of the franchise's fortunes. That is not what the new head coach is going to find here. The new head coach, whoever does accept this job, is from day one walking into a situation where he knows it's 2 against 1. I mean, from day one that you walk in, you know you are the odd man out. And that is not going to change because there is no way, if Shad is this wrapped up in Trent Baalke's opinion, and that is the only opinion that matters to him. He said it. We are lean as a football outfit. The people he leans on are Baalke people. If it isn't Trent, it's Ethan Waugh. Shad mentioned Doug and coordinators as his brain trust, who he just fired. He talked about an analytics department that is run by his son. it is sad because Shad is a good owner in a lot of ways, but from hearing him today, it is pretty stunning and frankly devastating that a decade plus into his ownership, this is how he views the structure. And my fear is, because I don't think Trent Baalke is especially good at what he does, he will get some things right for certain. But to me, he's like a 220 hitter, where you'd like your general manager to be a 270 hitter. And that's just not what Trent Baalke is. But it's clear that Trent Baalke is going to be the general manager here for the length of Shad Khan's ownership. I mean, unless something greatly changes, it is hard to see a man who talked with such conviction about Trent Baalke moving off of him at any point in time. And I think that's got to be that's got to make you sad and discouraged if you're a Jaguars fan. The general manager should not be somebody who is considered irreplaceable. The general manager is like a head coach, and if they aren't performing well, they need to be replaced. But that is clearly not how Shad Khan views this, and that is a massive problem.
Some names I think you're going to start hearing when this thing starts to unfold. Trent Baalke said today on that presser that he is going to get to where he's starting to reach out and start the interview process. I would imagine the names you're going to hear are Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator with Tampa Bay, Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator now with the Bills, maybe Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator with the Ravens. I would think those are the names you're going to hear. There's defensive guys who are in the market, namely Mike Vrabel and Brian Flores, who people think will get another chance. But I still find myself thinking, because they haven't done it before, an offensive-minded, young, highly regarded assistant will get a crack at this. Do you see that? My guess is that's where they're headed.
This will be the last job filled, in my opinion, because it's going to be filled by the guy that is clearly out of leverage. So I would anticipate seeing the other jobs that are open filled first, and then the Jaguars, I think, will be the last one to make the hire, because I think most head coaches they know this. I mean, they're more entrenched in this than we are. It's their livelihood. We just talk about it. But if you're a head coach, again, if you take this job, you know from the outset it is you against the GM and the owner. That is the structure that is in place here. And so, again, I would imagine that, as somebody that really was hoping it would be Ben Johnson, it's crushing, because I really don't think Ben Johnson is going to have an interest in this if he has other options, which I have to think he will. So, yes, I would think it will be one of those assistants that you mentioned that miss out on the other jobs, still want to be one of 32, and will convince themselves, hey, we're going to win anyway, so it's not going to matter.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Ben Johnson will be out. We'll see. I don't know. I'd keep an eye on that one. He would still be the things he liked about coming here, from everything you're told and that I've been told even offline. Trevor, winnable division. Florida, no state income tax. Also, he and his wife are from North Carolina, from small towns, that she would prefer a smaller NFL city than a Chicago. And again, I've been told that by people that know him. So, I wouldn't be surprised. The fact that the general manager's in place rather than him working with the owner to bring in a general manager probably is a factor. I think it's naive to suggest it's not a factor, but I don't know that I believe it's the killer. So we'll see. If he really does think he'd rather work with Trevor than Caleb, if he really would rather live in Jacksonville, if that's really true, if he really would prefer Jacksonville, prefer Trevor, prefer the AFC South, if there's all those prefers, my guess is he probably would bring Mark Brunell with him, probably as the quarterback's coach. If all those things align perfectly, my guess is he'll at least, if that's all true, and I think probably a lot of it is, at the very least, I think he would investigate what it would be like to work here, even if Baalke's in play. So I would imagine that is all, but we'll see. We'll know soon enough if that's going to wind up being the case. All right. Time now to say hello to our pal Rick below.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
All right, bunch of things. I'm going to get your tweet about the presser in a second. But before, I'm going to start with this. What'd you make of everything? What'd you make of the decision? Doug out, Trent in, the whole bit.
Went exactly as I expected.
Yeah, you did. You said all along, didn't you? You said all along.
Went
Trent
exactly as I
and-
expected.
Yeah, and you did. In fairness to Rick, Rick has said you thought Doug would lose his job and that Trent Baalke wouldn't. Why were you so confident? Because you hit it right on the head. Why were you so confident of that, Rick?
He is. Here's the bottom line. Trent Baalke doesn't have to impress anyone outside of Shad Khan. I don't know of one human being who thinks that Trent Baalke should still be the general manager. And Shad Khan's the only one. And that's the only one he has to impress. He has an answer for everything. He has an excuse for everything. And, I'm going to spend 2 hours on this. It's Jaguar fans are irate. They're disappointed. But they shouldn't be surprised. I could see this coming.
And the presser, you send a tweet?
Nah.
Don't worry about the presser.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, there you go.
I have a feeling I may say something about it during my show.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to scoop you on that. Rick Ballou comes on the air right now. He goes into the night. Folks, that's our program. Thanks for being part of it. Again, an interesting day in Jacksonville. And hopefully they go out and get a fantastic coach. I'm excited about what I hope they can do. And I'm always excited about the Jaguars. And in about 3 weeks, when's the Super Bowl? 4 weeks?
4 weeks, probably. Yeah.
Okay, so in 5 weeks, they're one of 32 undefeated teams, right?
Yeah.
I'm a positive guy, Carlyon. That's what you get. Well, yeah, it will about 8 months.
Well, I guess it will from a timeline standpoint.
Folks, that's our program. Rick Ballou's next.